Does the enemy want you? He does. He has an agenda. It's not a good one. It's a very selfish one. In fact, he knows that for every person that is saved in the kingdom, he has to pay the price for them. And he's not too interested in doing that. And so he wants to nab everyone that he can, so that as few as possible will be saved in God's kingdom. And also he can take all of the loss and shake them in front of God's nose and say, ha, 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 you couldn't save this one. He's a pretty nasty, nasty enemy. And of course, he will not leave any way untried. And but how does he get to us? He gets to us through the avenues of the soul. I'm sure some of you know what the avenues of the soul are. Maybe some of you don't. Maybe you all do, and that's fine. Philippians 4:8, our memory verse, or our text for today. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. This is the Christian's filter for anything that comes in the avenues of the soul. This single verse in Philippians 4, verse 8, is all we really need when it comes to considering all of the different things that bombard us from the outside coming in. If it does not meet it, if it does not match it, don't spend time with it. Pure and simple. It might have 7 of the 8. Well, as we talked about last night, it could have an extra ingredient in it. Some of you weren't here, so you have to ask somebody about that. It might have an extra ingredient in the brownies. So that one ingredient can ruin the whole thing, right? So it needs to have all 8 of those qualities before it's something that we're to meditate upon, watch, read, so on and so forth. Those who would not fall a prey to Satan's devices must guard well the avenues of the soul. They must avoid reading, seeing, or hearing that which will suggest impure thoughts. The mind must not be left to dwell at random upon every subject that the enemy of souls may suggest. The heart must be faithfully sentineled, or evils without will awaken evils within, and the soul will wander in darkness. Now, I'm a living example. My life is a living example of evils without awakening evils within. I know what it is to sin. I know what it is to sin big time. And I know what it is to be tempted very easily and to fall right back in to the stuff that at one time I love and another time I despise. But we're to guard well the avenues of the soul. But what are the avenues of the soul? Well, all should guard the senses, lest Satan gain victory over them, for these are the avenues of the soul. Right? The senses are the avenues of the soul. How are you going to get things from outside to inside, and what is it that the enemy is interested in? He's not interested in your little toenails. Right? He's not interested in your fingernails either. He's interested in your mind. And the way that you get things into the mind is through the avenues of the soul. All who name the name of Christ need to watch and pray and guard the avenues of the soul, for Satan is at work to corrupt and destroy, if the least advantage is given him. What kind of advantage? A least advantage. If we venture on Satan's ground, we have no assurance of protection from his power. That can be scary. So far as in us lies, we should close every avenue by which the tempter may find access to us. I have a friend, and he's very afraid right now. And he has reason to be, because he's been involved in many things that have placed him on the enemy's ground. And he knows what the enemy does when somebody has been far into his territory and they try to leave. The enemy doesn't play fair. He's pretty nasty. And my friend's afraid that he'll die trying to come to Jesus. He is. Really afraid that he will die in his attempt to come to Jesus, because he knows the power of the enemy and what he will do. There is a law of the mind, and any law is always functional. It always is what it is. You can like it or not like it, it's a law. Gravity, you can like it or not like it, it's a law. Sometimes you like it really well, it keeps you on the floor, right? And off the ceiling. But sometimes when you're falling, you don't like it very well because you know what's going to happen at the end, right? You're going to land. And if you're falling from a high height, well, gravity does its work. And you might get really short really fast. Well, there's a law of the mind, and the law of the mind says that but we all with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image. Right? We know this in maybe a shorter term or a shorter phrase. By beholding, we become changed. Right? By beholding, we become changed. This is the law of the mind, and it doesn't matter if you like what you're beholding or if you don't like what you're beholding. As you continue to behold it, you become like it. I have a certain family member, and they were preparing to be a paramedic firefighter, and they knew that part of their job would be going and scraping stuff out of cars and off of highways and so on and so forth. And they knew that the job was going to be pretty gruesome. And so what they did, they wanted to bolster up their guts or whatever so that they wouldn't be so affected when they saw nasty real-life stuff. And so they started watching horror movies so that they could, get used to it. And then, horror movies weren't enough, and so you got to watch other stuff, Faces of Death and other things like that. And and now that stuff doesn't faze him anymore. And yeah, he's been working as a paramedic for a long time, and I'm not sure how many things really faze him much anymore. And he likes horror films. Why? By beholding, we become changed. Even if at the beginning we hated it. By the way, this is the law that functions whereby children who were abused and didn't like how their parents treated them become exactly like their parents. Why? Because they spend so much time thinking, I hate that and I don't want to be like that. I won't be like that, but they keep looking at it the whole time, and they become like what they keep looking at. The ones that successfully break the cycle are the ones who look at something else. Right? They stop looking at their past and the things that have happened, and they look on to worthy role models like Christ, right? And become like that which they behold. By the way, with this law of the mind, you can defeat yourself in prayer. You realize that? You can be defeated in prayer. How? Your prayer simply focuses on the problem. And you're constantly praying about the problem. And you're looking at the problem, and you're praying about it. Yeah, you're asking the Lord to deliver you from it, but all the time you're concentrating on the problem. And you will become like the problem. Why? Because the law of the mind functions even in prayer. By beholding, we become changed. So prayer that prevails and prayer that overcomes is prayer that, yes, it acknowledges what the problem is, but then it looks at the solution. And then we become like the solution. It is a law both of the intellectual and the spiritual nature that by beholding we become changed. The mind gradually adapts itself to the subjects upon which it is allowed to dwell. It becomes assimilated to that which it is accustomed to love and reverence. Well, there are things that tend to steal our time and attention. God has given us time. He has given us the ability to have attention, and that's good, and we need that. And it's made for certain things. You know, you can take let's just go to summer break because, you know, school is kind of an artificial environment. Certain things are chosen for you, and you just don't have a choice. But when you go home, you got a little bit more choice, all right? So just imagine at home this last summer before you started school. How much time did you spend each day studying the Scriptures, reading devotional materials, in prayer, helping others, or contemplating the love of God? All right, just tally it up in your mind. Think about it on a daily basis while you're on break. How much time on a daily basis would you say that you spent? Any time? All right. 5 minutes? I'm not asking for confessions here. I'm just, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 10 hours? I doubt it. All right, what about time with the rest? All right, how much time did you spend watching TV? Watching movies on YouTube, right? News, well, I don't know. You might not be big into that. Facebook, Twitter, different types of net media, novels, magazines, music. Just thinking about yourself, doing stuff for yourself, primping yourself, whatever. Work, contemplating your problems or others' problems, your worldly pleasures, your faults or others' faults, or your own fears, right? All right, so just take a mental tally of, kind of the average during break. Which side are you living on? The right side or the left side? The rest or the best? Remember, by beholding, we become changed, and that which we view, which we behold, which we spend our time with, we become like. We can't help it. We can't change it. It is a law of the mind. Well, time and attention stealers. All right, sorry, that's the team, isn't that? Americans spend 11 hours a day with electronic media. You're looking at, these are 2014 statistics, I think. No, the last quarter of 2013. All right, 5 hours and 4 minutes with TV daily. This is average with Americans, right? Radio, 2 hours and 46 minutes. Smartphones, 1 hour and 7 minutes. What is it now? That was 3 years ago. A lot more than that now. All right, internet on a PC, 1 hour and 1 minute. Time-shifted TV, so you can, save it and watch it later. 32 minutes. Game consoles, 12 minutes. DVD, Blu-ray, 9 minutes. And multimedia devices, 2 minutes, sorry. So TV, internet, music, games, this is that stuff. But you've got novels and magazines and other types of stuff like that that's not electronic media that takes our time as well. Wow. TV watching per capita in hours, that means that you take the number of hours on average individuals across the number of people that are in the United States, and you average it out, and look at that. The averages have been dropping from 2010 down to 2016. We went all the way from 5.42 hours down to 4.88 hours a day. Praise God! Ah! All right, also increasing Netflix. All right, yeah. So why is it that we have a decrease in TV viewing, actual live TV viewing? Well, it's because we've got other stuff going on. The internet has 3.17 billion users across the United States. Not the United States, across the world, right? Worldwide, the World Wide Web, right? 3.17 billion users. If that was that many in the States, we'd be in trouble. Anyway. We don't have that many people in the United States. We have a lot of clones walking around, I guess. I don't know. All right, social media, 2.3 billion users of social media on a regular basis. WordPress, 56 million blogs every month. You want to stay busy reading what other people think? It'll take you a little while to get through that 56 million blogs, and that's just this month. By next month, you'll have another 56 million that you'll have to read. All right, talk about taking up your time. Well, wow. Facebook, 8 billion video views every day. Wow, yeah, every day, 8 billion, and just behind Facebook is Snapchat. You've got 6 billion videos every day. So you throw both of those together and you have 14 billion views every day. That is two video views every day for every person that lives on the face of this planet. And the majority of them don't have internet. And for some of us who use internet and don't watch that many videos in a day, then what are you all doing? All right, well, what is the world doing out there? Sometimes it is me. All right, I must admit. It's like videos of my children on there. But anyways, I mean, 8 and 6 billion video views every day. Wow. Google, 100 billion searches every month. You want to break it down? That is 40,000 searches every second. Wow. Yeah, I mean, 40,000 searches every second. In 2014, by 2014, Google had indexed 30 trillion pages on the web. And that was 2014. Who knows? I mean, people have been writing, 56 million blogs every month, and so you just add that on, and whoever else has been signing up for Facebook in between and everything else like that. 30 trillion pages in 2014. And how much power does it take to power Google? Google takes 0.01% of all of the world's electricity. Just the company to manage all of this stuff. 0.01% of all of the world's electricity is used by Google. Wow. Facebook, 500,000 new users every day. That's 500,000 people a day signing up for Facebook. Wow. Yeah. Twitter, 1.3 billion accounts. And 500 million people every month visiting and logging on, but visiting without logging on. Right? I mean, they're just visiting, seeing what's going on there. 500 million every month. Wow. Twitter, again, 500 million tweets every day. That's a pretty busy bird. Right? From midnight till midnight, 500 million tweets. And if you lived in that vicinity, you'd probably be moving away. It'd be pretty loud. All right, YouTube, 300 hours of video uploaded every minute. Right? Every minute, people upload 300 hours. So every hour, you get 299 hours and 59 minutes behind. Right? You're watching, but you're getting 299 minutes and 59 seconds. You're getting 299 minutes, behind every minute you go along. Right? That's crazy. And with YouTube, there are 3.25 billion hours. That's 31,000 months of video watched every month. Yeah, wow. Broadcast yourself, huh? Spread yourself thin. 2014, the most searched term on the web was music. Right? Music. Well, that's not all bad. Most of it is. All right. And the second most searched term was Minecraft. That's right. Let's see, 2016, 106 million copies of Minecraft have been sold. It is the number one leading PC-based gaming system in the world, and it's number 2 of all video games in history. Minecraft. If you don't know what it is, don't go there. You just don't go there. Instagram, 500 million active users every month. If it's not enough to just write about it, if it's not enough to watch it, just take a picture and post it. Right? Pinterest as well, 176 million accounts on Pinterest. All right. I know, it's getting really close to home. Some of you are like, oh, that's my page. Oh. Yeah, no. All right, LinkedIn, 450 million members. Some of you might not know that one. It's kind of like older people stuff. It's kind of like older people social media. You know, like I'm in a job and I'm a professional, and let's put our stuff out there for other professionals and so we can network and yada, yada, yada. In the U.S., there are more televisions than children. Yeah. In the United States, there are more televisions than there are children. Right? And that's in the household. This is in the store, right? That's in the household. And the next statistic is really, really sad. By 6 years of age, the average American child will have spent more time watching TV than they will ever spend in their lifetime speaking to their parents. By 6. Yeah. Does that look familiar? Yeah. The average American growing up spends 10,000 hours video gaming by the age of 21. That's just the average. And then there's gamers. Right? And the gamers average around 40 hours or more a week. What about us Adventists? Well, spring break, the question that I asked you, right? You were tallying things up in your mind. This was actually an anonymous survey that was taken at some of our other Adventist academies. And the average for TV, videos, and gaming, 4 hours a day. The average for devotional reading, Bible, prayer, etc., 10 minutes. So let me ask you, which direction are you going? Heaven or hell? The choice is yours. TV viewing, major cause of depression, decreases academic achievement, inhibits speech development, decreases reading comprehension, increases the likelihood of children developing ADHD, decreases creativity and imagination, decreases the ability to succeed, increases children's chances of becoming alcoholics later in life, makes men feel less in love with their partners, makes women feel less deserving of being loved by their partners, makes families spend less time together, increases divorce rates, increases negative moods, increases copycat suicides, lowers self-esteem and confidence, causes vision problems, makes you less likely to exercise, causes emotional problems, including PTSD. 1980s, when they started getting cable TV, there was increased autism going on at that same time too. Makes you eat more, makes you crave sugary foods, causes obesity, increases desire for cosmetic surgical procedures, so I suppose dermatologists sponsor TV. Reduces athletic performance, stresses the body, causes sleep deprivation, has doubled the murder rate in Western societies. Pretty interesting studies looking at the opening of TV in countries and then how quickly the murder rates double. Stunts the development of children's brains, damages the brains of both children and adults, decreases your lifespan, 22 minutes of life off for every hour you watch TV. It's twice as bad as smoking a cigarette. Hour of TV is twice as bad as a cigarette for your lifespan. It's even worse than smoking. Wow, that's TV. the one-eyed beast that's always open. By the time you turn 18, you will have viewed 200,000 acts of violence on TV and media. 13,250 hours of programming containing sexual content with 79,500 sexual scenes by the age of 18. Movies, well, you can see the list over there. I don't know, you got Punisher and Avengers, and you've got Watchmen and The League and Blade and I think I said X-Men and yada, yada, yada. Let me ask you look at some of this stuff on the left side, and then you look at Jesus. So nice. Heavenly windows at the time. All right. Right, so you look at the stuff on the left, and then you look at Jesus. Does it seem to be compatible? Or does it seem to be a stark contrast between the two? Well, that's the movies. What about TV? Nikita, Fringe, Parks Recreation, Community, Happy Endings, Raising Hope, New Girl, Heart of Dixie, so on and so forth, Terra Nova. All right, so that and Jesus look like they mix well? No. Pretty big difference between. Satan's work is to lead men to ignore God, to so engross and absorb the mind that God will not be in their thoughts. The education they have received has been of a character to confuse the mind and eclipse the true light. Satan does not wish the people to have a knowledge of God, and if he can set into operation blank, it will so confuse the senses of the young that human beings will perish in darkness while light shines all about them. If he can set into operation what? Games and theatrical performances. And this was written long ago. 1800s, maybe early 1900s. It's in Adventist Home, which was compiled in 1952. But games and theatrical performances. Do we have a problem with gaming nowadays? Entirely different than I think she was thinking of, but still true. Theatrical performances, well, there was no TV back then, or movies, but true. Finally, brethren, whatever things are what? 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 Whatever things are. If there's anything, meditate on these things. Now, of all the stuff that we've looked through, indicate that social media is all bad, right? Individuals can use Facebook and they can use other platforms and they can use it to witness to others, right? And those are usually the ones that I have that will feed onto my timeline as those that post Christian, religious, Adventist things. You know, you get Ellen White quotes that come through, observations about life, object lessons, and so on and so forth. And frankly, if it's family or friends and they don't do that, they're not on my timeline. They post whatever they post whatever. Why? Because whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there's any virtue and if there's anything praiseworthy, Meditate on these things. Now, that's a position that I began to take about 9.5 years ago, because before that time, movies were my life. TV was my life. Entertainment was my life. You see, I grew up in a home. My parents divorced when I was in elementary school, and I stayed with my mother, and my mother did the best she could at raising me, but she had to make money and be able to, keep us alive and eating and so on and so forth, and so she worked full-time. And so I'd go to school and come home, and a couple days a week, I would see her before 12 o'clock, midnight, right? And so I was home a lot alone, and what do you do when you're home alone and you're in academy? Yeah, you watch movies, you watch TV, you do your homework, and then you get it done pretty quick, and then you just veg out. And that's what I did. And back in the days when you'd actually rent videos, I spent a lot of money doing that. And then the internet came out and things went south. And I was definitely not into things that were true, noble, just, pure, lovely, of good report, virtuous, or praiseworthy. In fact, if it was quite the opposite of that, then I was attracted to it. And life was definitely not a pursuit of Philippians 4:8. It was a fleeing away from that. That stuff, frankly, bored me, and I didn't care much for it. If there is any way by which Satan can gain access to the mind, he will sow his tares and cause them to grow until they will yield an abundant harvest. In no case can Satan obtain dominion over the thoughts, words, and actions unless we voluntarily open the door and invite him to enter. You know how we voluntarily open the door and invite him to enter? Through the senses. And we open them up to his stuff. That's opening the door. Then he will come in, and by catching away the good seed sown in the heart, will make of none effect the truth. We get little glimpses of this in Spirit of Prophecy and what it looks like. Historical sketches of the foreign missions of Seventh-day Adventists, page 257. Many now engage in the work of God at will and let it alone at pleasure. They thus invite Satan to come in and take possession of their hearts. So to be religious at one time and to do whatever I want to at another time is inviting Satan in. It's opening the door and inviting him in. So I'm good when I'm around the teachers, but then there's the other side, and I know because I had the other side. I was a good kid. I was a religious kid. I was a class pastor several years, but nobody knew the demons in the closet, right? Nobody. Except when I found others that had the same demons. You can share with somebody that has the same fault, the same weakness. Why? It's not so scary because if one reveals, the other can tattle on the other one, and you're not as likely to get, what should I say, in trouble. So yeah, I was kind of a little bit of on the outside, a goody-goody two-shoes, and on the inside, a demon. And I remember times when I wished that I was demon-possessed. I don't know if you've ever thought that or wished that. I wished I was demon-possessed. Why? So they could just cast the thing out of me, and I'd be fine. So when we do good at school, and then we go home and do our own thing, that's inviting Satan to come in and take possession of our hearts. Theories of hypnotism, spiritualism, Romanism, other mysteries of iniquity. To allow matters of this character is to invite Satan to come in and you can't see a movie, and you can't get through much of a TV program without spiritualism being mixed right in with it. And it may not be a theory of hypnotism, but it's hypnotism in practice. TV viewing is. I'm not talking about necessarily educational material, but theatrical style TV, stuff that you see in prime time and so on and so forth. It takes only about 30 seconds to a minute to get individuals in an alpha wave pattern where you're highly suggestible. And commercials are highly, specifically put together materials that are very suggestible and very hypnotic. And even individuals who are professional hypnotists and know what's going on still can't help getting caught up by the commercials. Right? The soundness of our principles will be tested, and the strength of our loyalty will be proved. I wish all could see as I have seen the sharp, keen, persevering workings of Satan to tempt and to deceive. His vigilance never relaxes. He has ready access to souls because they are not attentive to heed the warnings God has given them. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. It's the warnings that God has given us. Not saying that I just want to restrict your freedom so you're only here. No, but he knows when you wander what is out there. And in his restricting your freedom, he is actually protecting your freedom. Because to wander away is to be captive and captivated. So many invite the enemy to tempt them. They walk so carelessly that they become an easy prey. They throw wide open the citadel of the soul and invite his entrance, place themselves in circumstances where they will be entrapped. I don't mind flying itself, but I really get annoyed with flying. Because it's so hard to get away from stuff in the airport and on the airplane. You know, it's like stare at your toes for a while, and then you see movement, and you're looking like 2 minutes later, like, oh, all right, look down. You know, there's the movie going there, and the movie going there, and somebody's next to you with their iPad, and they got their movie, and you know, it's just like, wow, where do you try to take a nap? But and it's just. They place themselves in circumstances where they'll be entrapped. Run away, run away, run away. It's okay to run away from that. Another source of danger against which we should be constantly on guard is the reading. Well, she says reading of infidel authors. What about watching? Right? It wasn't so much of a watching issue back then. Now it's really a watching issue, right? The reading or watching of infidel authors, right? Those that don't believe in Christ. And tell me how many in Hollywood really do. They don't, because they can't remain there if they did. It just wouldn't work. Such works are inspired by Satan, and no one can read or watch them without loss to the soul. It is true that some who are afflicted by them may finally recover, but all who tamper in the least with their foul influences place themselves on Satan's ground, and he makes the most of his advantage. As they invite his temptations, they have not wisdom to discern or strength to resist them. With a fascinating, bewitching power, unbelief and infidelity fasten themselves upon the mind. To harbor their suggestions is like recklessly taking into your bosom a serpent whose sting is always poisonous and often fatal. You probably wouldn't think of getting a big eastern diamondback or rattlesnake and get a good 6-footer and pick it up and just cuddle it close. Oh, snaky, snaky, snaky. Oh, snaky, snaky, snaky. Right? Because what is he likely to do? Just as likely to bite you and kill you for petting it, right? And that's exactly like the enemy. He's out to kill you, to bite you, even if you're nice to him, by playing in his playground. Every Christian must stand on guard continually, watching every avenue of the soul where Satan might find access. He must pray for divine help and at the same time resolutely resist every inclination to sin. By courage, by faith, by persevering toil, he can conquer. But let him remember that to gain the victory, Christ must abide in him and he in Christ. I don't know if we understand the power of these different things, the power of the movies, the power of the TV, the power of the symbols and all of that kind of stuff that Satan has put out there. Again, I have a friend that has been involved in occult activities and so on and so forth, and he had a friend that has the power of astral projection. One of those things where you can have kind of out-of-body experiences and you can go into other locations and see stuff and hear stuff and so on and so forth. And when she does this, she can get into people's homes, seeing what's going on in the homes. How? If there are certain objects in the home, she can get in, right? It might be a Christian home, but if it's got the devil stuff in it, she can get in. I remember hearing of David Gates. He was mentioning in one of his sermons how he was riding in a bus. He was in Mexico, and he was traveling along in the bus, and he was sitting next to an individual, and so he struck up a conversation and, asked them who they were and what do they do, and the guy said he was a brujo. Yeah, he was a brujo, a male witch, right, or a warlock, right? And so he was like, oh, okay, so what do you do? Well, he casts spells on people, and he can cast spells on people and make them sick and die, or he can cast spells on them and, make this person leave that person and get together with that person, and so on and so forth, and makes most of his money by casting spells and breaking up relationships so that somebody else can get with the person, and so on and so forth, and whatever. And so that was his life. And so David was mentioning to him that, well, he's a Christian and so on and so forth, and he's a pastor and a pilot and yada yada and that kind of stuff. And the brujo that he was sitting next to and says, you know what, I can even get your wife to break up with you and get with someone else. And he says, no, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, I can't. No, you can't. And so the guy says, I'll prove it. Says, do you watch TV? David Gates said, no. Does your wife watch soap operas? No. Do you watch any movies? No. What about reading novels? No. All right, you're right. I can't touch your wife. Yeah. And another location where he was speaking in Europe, there was, he was having a week of prayer at one of our universities. And he was talking about cleaning house, taking everything that belongs to the enemy and getting rid of it. And two of the girls that were there, they went back to their dorm room, and they were convicted by the message, and they decided that they wanted to get rid of everything. And one of them got permission from the dean to call home, and called home and called her mother and told her where everything was hidden, and wanted her mother to get it all and destroy it and then throw it out or burn it. And then she had stuff in her room, and she was, taking things and destroying it and throwing it in the trash and trying to get rid of it. And they were, basically cleaning everything out that they could think of that didn't belong to Jesus, didn't originate from him. And so they got rid of everything, but then the roommate said, no, there's something else. You've got that patch on your jacket, some symbol, And so, oh, that's right. So I don't know what they got, a knife or something like that, and they started, cutting out the stitching and everything that held it in place, and and eventually ripped it off. And when they ripped it off, the girl was like, oh, what? It's gone. What's gone? She had back pain for years. It would never go away. And the last vestige of the enemy's stuff, taken off, removed, back pain, gone. Yeah. What access does he have to your life? What avenues and doors have you left open? How is he coming in and stealing you away? No one can shut the door to your soul except you. Only you can open it up to Jesus, and only you can open it up to the enemy. But only you can close it to Jesus, and only you can close it to the enemy. And the choice is yours. And it says here that we must stand on guard continually. Right? The enemy doesn't give up. And we must watch how many avenues of the soul? Every. Right? It's not just what we watch. Right? Tomorrow morning we're going to be talking about music. It's another avenue of the soul where Satan might find access. But we must pray for divine help. And at the same time, resolutely resist every inclination to sin. We can't do it on our own. It has to be by Jesus. By courage, by faith, by persevering toil, we can conquer. But we need to remember that if we want the victory, Christ has to live in us, and we have to live in him. Right? I don't know what you're allowed here on campus, whether you're allowed phones and whatever, computers or whatever. I don't know what you may have in your dorms. I don't know what you may have in your rooms back home or what's in the home at large. But what I hope is that if there's something within reach even tonight, that you begin closing the door to the enemy. That as you go through your dorm, as you go through your room, as you go through your house, it's okay to clean on Sabbath when you're doing this cleaning. And that you go through and you ask yourself the question, did this come from Jesus? And if the answer is no, get rid of it. Doesn't matter how much it costs. Doesn't matter how much sentimental value it has. Doesn't matter how much it's worth. Doesn't matter how big or how small it is. If it doesn't belong to him, then it shouldn't belong to you. And you can take it. And you can cast it away. If it would be best to break it so that nobody else uses it, fine. If it's best to find a dumpster somewhere where people won't find it, fine. Don't light a fire in your dorm room. I don't recommend that. I tried that in my room at home once and it didn't work well. Just created a big fire and then I couldn't put it out right away until everything filled with smoke and my parents were like, "What are you doing?" And I don't remember what my behind felt like after that, but I don't think it felt very good. So yeah, I don't advocate like burning things in the room or so on and so forth. But if there are things that need to be burned, maybe, just maybe, we could have a ceremony tomorrow night. And we could have a burning. Something. Just to get rid of and destroy. And if you do have some kind of electronics and there's stuff on the electronics that you know needs to be cleaned off, cleaned out, deleted, and so on, I'd recommend that too. Can't tell you how many times I went through and cleared stuff off my computer and then put it back on. But at least if we get comfortable with clearing it off, it becomes easier next time. And may we seek to abide in Christ by removing every obstacle out of the way, that he may have full access to us, and we may have the right to claim his promises, because we are not giving Satan ground in our lives. Let's pray and ask him for that strength even now. Dear Heavenly Father, sometimes it's so hard to give stuff up. Why? Because we love it so much. It may be temporarily we have, but then when we go back home, well, there's another life there. And Lord, we know the enemy, like a serpent, wants to bite us and kill us. And as we considered time with the best versus time with the rest, I dare say many of us spend much more time with the rest than we do with the best, and the law of the mind has been working against us, and we have become that which we behold. And Lord, you cannot answer the prayer when we pray to make us like you, when we spend time with the enemy and his stuff, because you have made us with a law that governs the function of our mind, that says by beholding we become changed. And when we pray and say, Jesus, make us like you, but at the same time we behold that which is of the enemy, then we are asking him to undo his own law. And he cannot. And so, Lord, we see that it is our responsibility by your grace and through your love to go and to remove the obstacles, to go and clean our rooms, clean our devices, clean our minds. How? By replacing it with that which is good, by getting rid of that which is not yours. And Lord, we can have a joy, a peace, a clear conscience, knowing that we have done all in our power to remove that which belongs to the enemy. And Lord, in doing so, may we fall passionately in love with you and find in you our passion and our purpose, our joy. And Lord, we will find better love and better fulfillment and better purpose in you than anything else we could pursue. May we pursue you even now on these precious Sabbath hours, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, and have a good night.